Ms. Gilmet.
What would your top 3 priorities be as a Budget Committee member?
Mr. Kern.
Obviously, we're looking at 2 different budgets. We're looking at the school side as well as the town side. And I think that some of the things that we need to look at right now are the escalating mandates. I know that special education is an area that I've heard a lot of my fellow citizens talk about, and the costs attendant to it, whether it's transportation or teaching support or the ratio of teachers. So I think that those are things that I would want to ask tough questions in the first instance. Nobody begrudges any family that struggles with the angst of having a special needs child to go without. But I think there were some discussions this morning about, can we streamline the system? Can we have some overlap between different departments? So I think in that area of education, I think some of the comments brought up this morning were productive. I know that some towns, including this town, have talked about overlapping some of the library resources between school and town. So I mean, I think that there's some duplication of efforts, so that would be another area that I would also look at. And the last is those things that are discretionary, whether the road repair projects or things that can be spread out over a longer period of time. I think that it's a tough economic environment, and we have to make tough decisions.
Mr. Lakis.
First of all, I think that you need to responsibly control the costs that are going on. You can't just keep spending and spending. You should freeze the hiring and spending money. And I do actually have a special needs student in the high school, and I think that's, unfortunately, that's one of the places where the little guy gets smacked. An assistant stays on, and maybe the aide gets released, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. I think you need to control the costs. I think we need to look into ways to bring in more businesses in here to increase the revenue that comes into the town. And I think we need to maybe find a way to shift some of the tax burden towards the businesses that come in. Not because you don't want to discourage people from coming in, but...
Mrs. Winterman.
I think it's critical that we continue to commit time and energy, and when necessary, funds to control the development and growth in town. Growth and development is an absolute necessity for Londonderry. In order for this to move forward, the Budget Committee, the Town Council, and the school district all have to be very mindful of those changes coming down and be prepared to make them in a reasoned and rational way. I just want to make a note about special ed, having been on the school board. This community, over years, I cannot tell you how many times this community has discussed the special education budget. And for whatever reason, Londonderry voters, Londonderry families have time and again said, we are going to provide these services. So when we talk about what our priorities are, I'm more interested in hearing what it is that the voters in Londonderry have to tell me about what their priorities are. But for myself, definitely responsible controlled growth, and the other issue would be watching out for those additional positions that we're just not going to be able to fund for a while.